Well, we have some more Star Wars Outlaws sales figures thanks to the UK. And while this isn't the total picture, we can still kind of guess based on these because in reality, the sales are probably tracking the same everywhere else. It won't be that much of a difference. So from this, we can kind of get an idea of where things are at. So this is from VG Charts. Star Wars Outlaws in the UK sold about half of Assassin's Creed Mirage sales. So that's another big high-profile Ubisoft game. Before, we were comparing it to an EA game, which is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I'm not sure if that game blew the doors off of sales or not. It was down from Fallen Order. Personally, I think the Star Wars franchise itself was probably in a better place when Fallen Order came out. I don't think it was nearly at the level that it is now. I think fans still were kind of holding out some hope at that point. And then as time went on, of course, things continued to get worse. But Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws launched sales in the UK, physical and digital sales combined. Now, last time we were going by just box sales. Now we've got their digital sales as well. Sold 52% better than Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, but only half of Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is according to the head of games industry, Christopher Dring. Star Wars Outlaws UK figures were lower than I expected, digital and physical data via GSD said, but did a fair bit more than Avatar, 52% more, and about half of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Plenty of opportunity to drive more units on this one as we head into Q4. Yeah, with a price cut, a hefty one. And did Avatar Frontiers of Pandora even do that well? I didn't see anybody talking about that game. I think it kind of just came and went. So that doing 50% more of that number, that's not impressive to me. Doing half of what Assassin's Creed Mirage did is pretty bad. So, yeah, it looks like this game is a flop. They expected more out of a Star Wars title. The budget behind this game had to have cost a shitload of money. And that's the problem. Because this is a big open world game, and you have the licensing cost. I don't even know what that is, but I guarantee you it's not cheap to make a Star Wars game. I guarantee you Disney's getting its cut for sure, and that cut's probably hefty. You bank on this game selling crazy amounts of numbers to make up for that, but I don't think that happened. And I think Ubisoft knows that they're in trouble because when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, their policy as of August 1st was more like this. Bad faith discourse, not worth engaging with, Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws creative director says. This is a week after the company issued an apology for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, for the context on that, it was issued to Japan because Japan is overwhelmingly pissed about this game. Plenty of receipts on that. I've done a bunch of videos on it. Japan is not happy. They've been stealing shit from people in Japan, like those banners, using the Thomas Lockley guy for a lot of their research, and some other Japanese teacher who's really into strange sex shit. It's an odd batch of people that they're working with this game, and then they're trying to say, no, we're not trying to be disrespectful to Japan when, they don't seem to see it that way. But it looks like the policy before was stick your head in the sand, ignore everybody, don't engage. People will just buy and consume. To now have shifted to let's try and do some damage control. So it shifted. Before, we're not going to engage in any bad faith discourse. To now, let's try and get people to buy this game because we need sales. As you know, Ubisoft stock is in the shitter right now. not doing well, and they're doubling down big time. I talked about that yesterday in that video where they're bringing on people for this mentorship program. It basically looks like an internship, right? But a lot of people get their foot in the door through internships. Sometimes you can get hired on through an internship if you do a good enough job. It's kind of a way to just, get experience and network. But you can't come in if you're a man. You have to be a woman or non-binary. And I'd like to specify here that you just have to identify as a woman. Okay, you don't need to be a natural-born woman. You can identify as a woman. Or you can just be non-binary. But if you're a cis-het man, you're not getting in there. You will not be in the mentorship program. So they're quadrupling down on this shit. But I think they can kind of see where the wind is blowing with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't think this game is going to do that great. I don't think it's going to completely flop. But I don't think it's going to blow the doors off any sales records either. And they've almost completely lost the entire country of Japan, and they know it. So they're out here trying to save face on that, because it's probably going to look bad if this game tanks in Japan. So they got the game's art director to sit down and try to do some damage control for this game. I'm not quite sure it's going to work, but it's funny that this comes out after their stocks start slipping. I mean, their stocks are in free fall. It's wild what's going on with their stocks. They got investors urging them to go private. That's how bad it is. I don't know where the bottom is for that. If this game bombs, it's going to be a whole lot worse, and they know it. So now, after saying, well, not somebody involved with Assassin's Creed, but you had a Star Wars director out there saying, screw those fans. They got the art director, a high-up guy in the process of this game, like one of the devs, high-up guy, to sit down and talk about this game and try to do some damage control. Here are the interesting things that he said. So this is in response to asking about, the troubles and difficulties of dealing with the backlash online, including Elon Musk, who also dunked on the game in regards to creative choices. And he says, matter of factly, it's a video game in the end, so we want to make the best experience as possible for our players. We've worked with a lot of experts to just understand well the time period, he continued. We did a lot of our own work, so we're making sure that we depict this world in a respectful way while fulfilling the gameplay needs and making it entertaining. A lot of those experts, by the way, one of them, Thomas Lockley, confirmed liar, pushes that Yasuke was some high-up samurai shit when he was a retainer. There's barely any writings on this guy in general. But, we can just assume all this stuff and say it's a fact. Plenty of people from Japan have came out and challenged this guy, but all of the media sites run with it. Like, this dude is just spitting facts. We've worked with Osaka and Tokyo studios who've acted as consultants. One of their art directors is involved and doing research in the field. We went there. We've done field trips as well. And we have Japanese experts living in Japan. We use them a lot to look at our assets. They play the game and provide feedback. And going on, he says, the moderation team of the main Assassin's Creed Reddit banned all discussions of Yusuke's role as a samurai in the game to avoid further vitriol being spread. Oh, he didn't say that. I highlighted this to remind you that happened. So over on Reddit, they damage controlled and banned anybody that wanted to discuss the Yusuke role as a samurai. You're not even allowed to talk about it or challenge anybody. They just ban you. Was it like that with these quote-unquote consultants if they came and said anything negative about that decision? I wonder if you just chose not to listen to them. Eventually, I think a lot of the story around this game's development, conception, and so on is going to come out. I do wonder what what were the conversations like when they decided to go in the direction they did with this game? So here's a little bit more, and this is talking about the statement that Ubisoft gave. So if you remember, they apologized to Japan because Japan is rightfully ticked about this game. And they say, acknowledging the statement, which he said he found out about when it was made public, he explained that he was still confident in the game's wider reception at launch in November. There was a letter published by Ubisoft apologizing to the group of people in Japan. But something they need to know is we are working with experts, world-renowned experts. And if we have in any way offended people, we are sorry, but this is not the goal. We have paid a lot of attention to stay as respectful as possible to Japanese culture, but creative choices are made on our side. Based on all the discussions we had with our own group of experts, we're confident with how the game will be received. Finally, he was asked whether it was difficult to land the project while social media was all right with opinions on the team's choices, and while he personally said he was unaffected, he knew there had been some. So I get the gist that these guys are doing the same thing that the Concord team did and ignoring all the feedback, and they're just going to push away and put the game out anyway. And I don't think that's going to work out very well for them. And the sad thing is that they and the Star Wars Outlaws team had time to make changes and chose not to. And look at how that's worked out for Star Wars Outlaws. I'm real curious to see how this one does, because I think you could end up with a third AAA failure for Ubisoft, and who knows what their stock looks like after that. You could see this thing go down to like $6, $5, and that would be really bad. It's crazy how their stock is dropping right now. And if they don't get those sales up in November, when this game comes out, pretty sure it comes out in November or late October or early November, it's going to be real, real bad for them. I think you could see them. I don't want to say bankruptcy is a harsh word here. Maybe a hostile takeover, something like that. I don't know. But I can tell you it's not good when a stock keeps dropping like it is with no signs of rebounding. You really need a win here. And if this game flops, it could lead to lights out. I think Ubisoft is lost. It's pretty obvious that they are run by the wokest of woke. Putting out that announcement for the mentorship program as their stocks are collapsing was a really strange move indeed to me. Like, I thought, look, this is what's going to rebound your stocks, huh? Announcing that all of your interns that you're looking for are all non-binary or identifying as a woman. It's kind of sending the wrong message. And isn't that illegal? Is it? I know that they're not an American company. They're in France, right? Isn't that where Ubisoft is? At least the developers of Assassin's Creed are located there, right? Regardless, it should be discrimination. You're blatantly saying men need not apply. I mean, that's kind of screwed up, man. That needs to be illegal to do. And I'm pretty sure it is. So, the choices we make. Good luck, Ubisoft. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed to that notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.